I mentioned in the last chapter review that we're in what I usually call kind of like transitionary periods within mangas. It's like between two arcs. Like, the arc that just happened on that island, and whatever the arc that comes next, whatever like the larger scale parts of the story is going to start rolling again. We're going to have a couple chapters where it's going to be like slice of life stuff. It's going to have dedicated time on singular characters. It's going to be way more kind of comfortable because we just got out of a lot of craziness, like a lot of big important plot movement and whatnot. But I did see some people talk about the chapter, and I usually don't address that controversial of content in my videos if I don't think they're that worth talking about. But this time I thought it was kind of silly. I can't think of at least any other ones. I mean, sometimes I'll address it, but I don't think I do it that often, at least that I can remember. And correct me if I'm wrong. But some people were talking about how, like, Shion's, like, time, like, getting ready to kind of, like, go on, a quote-unquote date with this young boy who's, like, her associated. He's, like, a rookie in the spy game. He's, like, bronze rank, I think they said he was. He's really young, probably looks like, I don't know, 10 or 12. They're trying to say it was almost, like, some weird fetishizing stuff where, just real much older girl, younger dude. I don't think so. I think the chapter was way more on showing her kind of like fish out of water status and going out and doing anything outside of the world she already knows. Like the very first page we get of her in the chapter, it's like her talking to Mutsumi about like how to put on her bra and stuff, and it's like she's a grown woman. I think she's like 19, so she's an adult. And, like, not being able to do basic stuff like that, it just kind of, like, shows her lack of her lack of skills outside of her kind of, like, neat lifestyle. So, you combine that with, obviously, like, inability to kind of, like, pick clothing of literally just going to lunch. It's a really odd setup with her character, but I think it makes sense to how she, what we know about her. She's like a shut-in. She doesn't go out on missions. She's like the computer person. She's the person at the desk, the intel. And on top of that, she's like, she's like this kind of shut-in gamer. So it makes sense why she doesn't have a lot of the interactive abilities outside of like what she does on a regular basis. Because she's like talking to people through through computers and stuff, and through like games and stuff all the time, and is perfectly fine with it. But actually going out to do real world stuff is something she's not as accustomed to. I would say, like, when I was reading the chapter, the thing that was kind of stranger to me is when she was looking into stuff for like her whole outing, and it was like the associate spy. I think he wanted to get like some computer part she invented. I have to look back at exactly what it was, but that was more of like it was more of like what set off the rest of the events. The chapter itself is not focused on like this dude acquiring this piece of hardware. Like the kid is mentioned at the start and he's shown at the end, but he's not the focal point. Like the main focus of the chapter is clearly Shion's character. But when she was like looking into outfits to wear, you got like the first set was like shirts. It's essentially the shirt she already wears, that really overly sized black shirt with like a game symbol on it. There was like her school uniform, where it's like, I don't really know why you would kind of go to like a luncheon with that. That to me would feel more like it'd be like if someone was gonna try and be like schoolgirl fetish or something, because they're gonna be like, why would you even wear that when you're a grown adult kind of thing. It's stuff like that. I was just like, of course you're not gonna wear that. And then like you saw like outfits of like like Goku's gi and stuff. Once she was looking at the like thinking about like dressing more feminine dresses, I was like, this looked pretty normal. I don't think anyone would really bother if you went out with that. But at least you like this panel I picked with Mutsumi, because I did like the big Victorian dress. I thought it looked good. That would obviously draw attention. Almost every single outfit I think that was brought up, besides the two just plain dresses that she's picking out, because she's like, oh no, I can't do that while shopping in the black market. I don't think anyone would care. I don't think anyone would really care, because like Mutsumi wears like regular dresses all the time. She's not wearing anything extravagant. It just looks like kind of like casual wear. I don't know. I just thought that was a funny thing to bring up, because even the outfit she picks at the end would be more noticeable. She's like, let me pull over the panel really quick to look at it. It's like she's wearing like this hat and like this like kind of like I don't, is it crop top? Is that what those are called? But like it's long sleeves. It's got stripes. He's got a vest and these like knee high socks and like these shorts. That I would notice something like that because I'd be like, wow, you put way more effort into like whatever outfit you're kind of like going. You went through multiple steps to customize your suit. Whereas like that dress, I'd just be like, oh, she probably just put something on real quick to go outside. I don't know. It's some of this that I was thinking about during the chapter. That was way more of where my thoughts was because it had like a plot to where this chapter was going, but it was very much set on one of those like character tries on multiple outfits kind of like things. I mean, sure, I'm sure a lot of people can like think instantly as I said it, they can think of like probably 10 other series where there's a sequence where some character puts on a lot of different outfits, because mostly set on female characters, but I have seen it on some dudes. But it's like it felt more like that. It didn't feel like it was like, oh, we're gonna have some older girl having some like 10-year-old boyfriend kind of thing, kind of like doing that fantasy. It's like, no, I didn't see that, at least from this chapter. Like the closest there was anything to really anything like lewd was like when she had like the Kengo outfit where she was like had like some like cat girl outfit kind of set up, but obviously she wasn't too keen on that. That was what's the dude's outfit like the idea Sosuke or whatever his name is, the low level spy. Like that just seems like something obviously he would do, though. Why would you do it? Actually, even more so Shinzo's outfit, because I was like, you wouldn't be wearing anything to cover your chest at all. Like her boobs would be fully out there. But her brother Kyocho seemed also pretty normal. I don't think anyone would, if anything, that would probably be the most, that would probably fit in the most in a realistic case of going to black market. She'd be dressed up almost like a hitman kind of thing. That one actually made the most sense to me. But yeah, the other outfits I feel like just would have been more standout. It's actually funny because like the plain dress felt like it would have been more regular, but now that I think about it, her older brother, like his outfit would have been perfect. It's literally just you're wearing essentially a suit. You look like a hitman. But the rest of it, like he kind of just went through different designs, and then it went into the regular outfit that she wore. And even when she was with the kid, it didn't have that weird of implications. It was like he gave her a compliment that he was happy that it's like, oh no, it was nice that you got all worked up for me. And then she had like a really embarrassed reaction to it. Like if the next chapter it turns into like some actual like date, it'll be kind of weird considering like I think she's 19 and he's, I don't know how old he is. He's really young. Did they mention it in the chapter? I think they might have when we saw him. Either way, I don't think that I saw that, at least from this chapter. I think this was way more just kind of like a fun character chapter where it was just like showing this girl who has like almost no real world social skills and tried to put her out there, tried to put her out in that environment where she's got to associate more with what she's not used to. So it just made her really awkward. I thought it was more of a fun character chapter, if anything. I would hope it doesn't turn into that, she's trying to like get the moves on this young kid or something, or it's like it kind of like goes to that. I'm fine if it's like he has like a kid's crush on her, but I really don't want. I would really hope there's zero kind of like development with that, unless it's like a time skip where he's like much older or something. Just because it's like there are kind of like age barriers where it's not that strange. Whereas, like, this would be, yeah, this is kind of strange. Where if, like, he was, like, 2 or 3, like, if he was, like, 16 or something, I think she's 19. Something like that, I'd be like, I can see it, especially in Japan, especially in, a manga. It's not as strange. It wouldn't be like, should we call the police? Whereas, like, if I saw a date between these two in real life where it was, like, an actual serious thing, I'd be like, somebody needs to call the police. We need to have this kid saved from this strange predator in a hat. But I don't think that's how it was. I think that's just how some people are interpreting it. I don't really know. At least from what I would guess. I don't think it was presented that way. I think it was way more, Shion she has to essentially go out of her element. Again, a fish out of water kind of style thing. She has to pretty much behave like a regular person out in the real world and not in her own environment. But anyway, other than that, it was a fair chapter. It was a very character set chapter. I'm hoping we don't have too many character set chapters and more, like I said, kind of like transitionary periods of content before we get to the next bunch of chapters. I'd be okay if we got chapters like this, but it also was like leading into like another arc, like leading into like actual plot stuff. Because these ones are fine, but obviously you're not going to have the same level of interest and investment in a chapter where it's like hey, we're just gonna have some fun. Characters are gonna be, you know, having a good time, we're gonna get some laughs, and then, you know, have like in character content kind of stuff. Whereas like if there were some bits thrown in here of like stuff that would lead up into another arc or large scale plot stuff with like their dad or you know, anything with people utilizing their blood and stuff to make these artificial powered people, that would be way more kind of obviously like intention driven. But anyway, other than that, though, comment below, thumbs up the video, but friend, the like button, subscribe button, check out my other videos. Better than that, I appreciate everybody's already subscribed. Thank you all for listening. Bye.